welcome those present in the room and, of course, those watching us online. And it's my pleasure to hand over to our group president, Iratxe García Perez, who will now speak to you. Merci.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Buenos días a todos.
Good morning, everyone. Let's begin today. Today is the day of a very important plenary session, but this is opening up a fundamental period with the German presidency of the European Union, during which we will have to do a great deal of work in order to face the major challenges that are before us. The plenary will take place before the council next week, which will have to also decide on essential issues. And therefore, without any doubt, these two debates, the German presidency and the preparation of the council on the 17th, will very much be foremost on our agenda. I would just like to highlight the important role of our party in the German government, which has highlighted the priorities of the German presidency with important aspects having to do with solidarity, the social pillar, and the need to protect and defend the rule of law in Europe. In the political group, we have been working for the last few weeks together with our colleagues from SPD and together with them in the Bundestag, and the Minister for European Affairs, Michel Roth, and also with Walter Bohan, who has recently participated in our group meeting, which was very fruitful, and we were able to discuss not just what awaits us over the next few months under the German presidency, but also how we should strengthen the European project. Now, with respect to interinstitutional conversations, which took place this week, as you know, the leaders of political groups at the European Parliament have once again put forward a message of unity with respect to the Commission and Council. The Commission's proposal is the minimum when it comes to the budget for the recovery plan. This is the minimum that we can accept. And this is the message that we have expressed. As you know, yesterday we had a lunch with the President of Parliament, David Sassoli, as well as the President of Council, where we expressed this message unanimously on behalf of the leaders of the major political groups here in Parliament. We cannot accept cuts to the budgetary framework, and we need to set up a recovery plan urgently. I insist, absolutely urgently, and this is why I would appeal to the sense of responsibility that the heads of government and council have and will have next week on this important point. We cannot wait any longer. We expect to have a very difficult autumn, and we need to make sure that Europe set up this recovery plan as soon as possible to really give impetus to the European economy and the economies of our member states and really support strategic sectors. We will continue emphasizing certain key questions that are important to us as a political group. The response of this crisis cannot be the same as that for the 2008 crisis. It's not The proposals on the table have not yet been accepted. The change has to be complete. Support for the priorities of European policy, the fight for climate change, digitalization, modernization of our industrial sectors, and stepping up public and healthcare systems, which have more than ever showed the need for such support given this crisis. And we must continue defending our position as a political group and also as Parliament, because in this case, we have a position which is widely supported as in the institution. Also, there's an important question, and that has to do with own resources. As we know, the European Commission was also putting this question forward. And from our group, the Socialist Group, we have been discussing the need for tabling this for some time so that we can have own resources, so that we can face European crises. This cannot just be a temporary choice. This should be an obligation taken up by Council, which is already assuming the responsibility for putting forward own resources, and also more just taxation, because those companies that are not paying tax in Europe should. And this needs to be ensured, and we need to bring them on board and share the principle of solidarity. Now, as a political group, we have promoted the creation of the tax subcommittee in European Parliament. And this week we will be voting in plenary on the membership of this subcommittee. And I would just like to emphasize that this is a proposal that was put forward by the S&T group, and we have fought for it because we feel that it is one of the priorities for Europe, that we have fairer tax, more progressive tax, and something that can really provide a fundamental aspect to the heart of Europe. And so this is something that we will be discussing at plenary. And of course, we've voted on a resolution on public health, which is of course very important. And I would just like to remind you that our political group a month ago approved a document on our position with respect to public health and the need to strengthen public health systems in Europe. This is an aspect which, when it comes to competence, is in the hands of member states. But we need to open up a discussion on this subject, because when the pandemic arose, when the problem of COVID-19 began, we saw how citizens were asking Europe to mobilize, and it was difficult to explain to citizens that the European institutions don't have much competence in this matter. And so I think we need to have a public debate as well, at a time in which citizenship needs to participate to be able to discuss these matters. And in fact, I'm very pleased that finally Council has adopted a position with respect to the conference on the future of Europe, because I believe that this conference is going to be able to address this type of subject, which is so important at the moment. And I hope that it will begin during the German presidency and the initiative on the future of Europe, because the interinstitutional discussions are beginning, and we would like to be able to begin with this initiative this fall. And finally, I would just like to conclude by saying that, as you know, we're going to have a debate on the situation in the Mediterranean. Unilateral actions taken by Turkey in the Mediterranean do not help enhance the security that our neighboring countries need. And also Greece and Cyprus can and should receive all our support and solidarity. We also are very pleased with the efforts that the representative has taken in his recent travels to Turkey and Greece in order to come up with a diplomatic solution to energy disputes. And so these are some of the important issues that have come up this week. And of course, I'm available to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Iratxe. And maybe just to add, because you see the banner behind Iratxe, because today with our activity this week on tax, we are launching a large tax campaign. You find all the information with details on a specific site we have created. And we have also adopted an S&D paper. We are adopting this today in the group on tax justice. So more to come, and please visit our website on this. I understand that we have so far no questions from the audience online. Are there any questions here in the room? If that is not the case, then thanks a lot, Iratxe, and wishing you all a very good week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't worry. Ay, vamos, García.